Patrick Poon joins me now from Hong Kong. He's a researcher at Amnesty International's East Asia Regional Office. Patrick, thanks so much for coming in on the show. Now, this leak makes a number of allegations, but we should be clear that none of this is actually confirmed. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we also have done quite a number of interviews. Around several hundred people also reach out to us. They are living in different countries around the world. Uighurs, Kazakhs. Actually, they have been reporting quite similar stories about their relatives that they have heard from their friends who are now in Xinjiang, telling us quite similar stories about their relatives because they're very religious, wearing scarf or having a very Uyghur style beard. So all these kind of religious and ethnic backgrounds would be the reasons for them being detained and being sent to the camps. And in the camps, actually, we also talked to some ex-detainees. They actually also suffer quite similar things what we heard, like being brainwashed. They have to learn Mandarin, Chinese, and also they are forced to learn the government leaders' speeches.
Patrick, what sort of response would you expect from the international community on this, if any at all? I mean, what's the diplomatic process from organizations like yours, like Amnesty International, to establish if any of this is true or not?
Of course, it's very difficult to verify these cases because of the lack of access, independent access to the region. And then also Chinese government has not been given any access to UN human rights experts, for example, not to mention other independent researchers and journalists to have a closer look of what really happens inside the camps. So I think what we can do is to document the cases that we have heard, and then actually to cross-check the information from these people testimonies. Then we can actually come up with some patterns. This is like what these leaked documents also give us some sense of the common patterns that people being detained in those camps are facing. So I think all these are very hard evidence to show people being sent to the camps are not receiving so-called vocational training, but they actually are being brainwashed to accept that they are Chinese and they have to accept the Chinese Communist Party's rule. So it's something actually try to subvert their cultural background, ethnic background, and religious background. So I think the world need to know that this actually arbitrary detention. There in no way, in any sense, that would be so-called vocational training.
Patrick Poon, a researcher at Amnesty International East Asia Regional Office. Thanks so much for your insight for us here at TRT World, Patrick.